Most people aren't trapped by circumstances, they're trapped by themselves. You don't need someone else to unlock the door for you. The chains are in your hands. The reason you're not further ahead is not because you're not smart enough, not because you weren't given enough opportunities. It's because you've been holding yourself back. And today, we're going to rip those excuses apart. Ask yourself this: what would your life look like right now if you stopped lying to yourself? Not tomorrow. Not next year. Right now, how much further would you be if you had stopped waiting, stopped doubting, and stopped playing small? That gap between where you are and where you could be, that's the price of hesitation. And you're the one writing the check every single day. Everybody thinks failure is the most expensive thing in life, that if they try and it doesn't work, they'll lose money, time, or pride. But here's the truth: failure isn't what robs you. Excuses do. Excuses are a slow poison. They eat years, they drain potential, and they leave you with nothing but regret. When you fail, at least you walk away with something. You learn. You gain insight, scars, data, clarity about what doesn't work. But when you make an excuse, you gain nothing. You don't even get the scar, you don't get the lesson. You just stay in the same spot, pretending you're protecting yourself, when really you're killing your future. Think about how many times you've told yourself a story: it's not the right time. I don't have the money. I'll start when I'm ready. Those stories cost you more than any failed attempt ever could. You didn't just lose a chance, you lost momentum. You lost years. You lost proof to yourself that you're capable. Failure is a bill you pay once. Excuses are a subscription. They keep charging you month after month, year after year, until one day you look back and realize you've been paying interest on nothing. You've been financing comfort, and the debt you're stuck with is regret. Here's the ugly truth: failing forward 100 times will put you further ahead than making one excuse for why you can't start. Excuses look safe in the moment, but they're expensive in the long run. They protect your ego today, but destroy your life tomorrow. You ever notice how the people who are the best at making excuses are usually in the exact same place they were last year? Same problems, same complaints, same results. That's because excuses are anchors. They don't just keep you from moving forward, they drag you deeper. And here's the kicker: failure doesn't define you. You can fail publicly, fall flat on your face, and people will move on. Nobody's replaying your mistakes as much as you think they are. But excuses? They define you because they become who you are. If you keep repeating them long enough, you're no longer someone who could have done something. You're the person who never did. That's an identity, and it's hard to escape once you wear it long enough. So let's reframe it. Failure isn't expensive, it's tuition. It's the cost of learning. You pay the price once, and then you own the lesson forever. Excuses are a scam. You keep paying, and you never get what you paid for. If you want to grow, stop negotiating with excuses. Stop thinking they're protecting you. They're not. They're robbing you blind. You don't have to feel ready. You don't have to have the perfect plan. You just need to trade the excuse for an attempt. Even if that attempt doesn't work, it's still worth more than the comfort you're clinging to. Because at the end of your life, you won't regret the times you failed. You'll regret the times you didn't even try. You'll regret the ideas you never tested, the risks you never took, the chances you let slip. That's the real price tag of excuses. It's not measured in dollars. It's measured in wasted years. So stop lying to yourself. Stop pretending you're protecting yourself. Rip the excuses out by the root and replace them with action. Failure might sting, but excuses will bankrupt you. Most people are stuck not because they don't know what to do, but because they're waiting to feel like doing it. They think motivation is the missing piece. They keep searching for that spark, that high energy moment where everything feels exciting and easy. But let me break it to you: motivation is cheap. It's emotional. It comes and goes like the weather. Discipline is what builds a life. Motivation is like caffeine. You get a hit, you feel great, then it fades. And when it fades, so does your progress, because you tied your actions to how you felt instead of to a decision. Discipline, on the other hand, doesn't care about your feelings. Discipline says, I'll do it because it needs to be done, whether I feel like it or not. That's the difference between amateurs and professionals. Think about it. Everyone feels motivated on day one. Everyone's hyped when they start the new workout, the new business, the new relationship. But day one doesn't matter. Day 100, day 300, day 1000, that's what matters. And the only thing that gets you to those days is discipline. Discipline is boring. That's why most people don't like it. It's repetition, it's structure, it's showing up again and again, even when the excitement is gone. But here's the truth boring builds. Ordinary Consistent actions done every day create extraordinary results over time. The people you admire aren't superhuman. They're just consistent when others quit. Motivation says, do it when it feels good. Discipline says, do it until it feels good. Motivation gets you started. Discipline keeps you going. Without discipline, you'll spend your whole life chasing new sparks of inspiration and never finishing anything. With discipline, you can build empires off habits that don't even feel exciting anymore. The trap is thinking you need to feel ready. You don't. You'll almost never feel like doing the hard thing. You'll never feel like waking up early, pushing your body, making the call, studying, practicing, grinding. If you're waiting to feel like it, you'll be waiting forever. Winners don't wait. They act. They let discipline carry them when motivation disappears. The truth is, discipline is freedom. Most people think discipline is restriction. They think it means less fun, less freedom, less choice. But look at your life. Where are you suffering right now? Probably in the areas where you lack discipline. Finances, health, relationships, career. Without discipline, you're trapped by impulse. You're a slave to your emotions. With discipline, you take control. You build habits that serve you. You create freedom because you're no longer at the mercy of how you feel. Let me put it this way. Motivation is a mood. Discipline is a muscle. And the more you train it, the stronger it gets. You don't wake up disciplined. You build it one decision at a time. Every time you do something you don't feel like doing, you add a brick. Over time, that wall gets high enough to protect everything you're building. So stop chasing motivation like it's some magic pill. It's not going to save you. What's going to save you is discipline. The decision to show up, the decision to do the work, the decision to keep going when you'd rather quit. That's how people change. That's how you grow. At the end of the day, you don't need another motivational video, another quote, another speech to get you fired up. What you need is to decide that no matter how you feel, you're going to show up. That's discipline. And once you have it, you'll realize you were never stuck. You were just waiting for a feeling that was never coming. One of the biggest lies people tell themselves is that they'll start when they're ready. They wait for the perfect time, the perfect amount of money, the perfect plan, the perfect confidence. And because they're waiting for perfect, they never start at all. Here's the truth, you'll never feel ready. Readiness is a myth. The people who win aren't the ones who wait for permission. They're the ones who start before they're ready and figure it out along the way. Think about it. How did you learn to walk? You didn't sit around waiting until you had perfect balance. You stood up, you stumbled, you fell on your face, and you got back up again. You learned by moving. That's the same way every skill, every business, every relationship, every goal works. Progress doesn't come from waiting. Progress comes from movement. The reason most people don't start is fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of looking stupid. So they hide behind preparation. They convince themselves they're being responsible by waiting. But preparation can become procrastination in disguise. At some point, you're not preparing anymore, you're stalling. And here's the reality, nobody's going to give you permission. Nobody's going to knock on your door and say, okay, now's the time, you're ready, go live your dream. That moment doesn't come. If you're waiting for the world to validate you, you'll die waiting. The permission you're looking for, you have to give it to yourself. Starting before you're ready isn't reckless. It's necessary because you can't get the experience you need without doing. You can't learn the lessons from the sidelines. You can study, you can plan, you can read every book and watch every video, but none of it substitutes for action. Action is the classroom. Life teaches you once you're in the game. The first draft of anything is ugly. The first version of your business, your body, your skills, your content, it won't be perfect. It's not supposed to be. You don't get to perfect without passing through imperfect, and the longer you delay, the longer you keep yourself from the very mistakes that would make you better. Let me tell you something, clarity doesn't come before action. Clarity comes from action. You don't think your way into confidence, you act your way into it. You build belief by seeing yourself take steps, even small ones. Every time you move, you prove to yourself that you can. Every time you delay, you prove to yourself that you can't. Here's the other thing. Time is not waiting for you. Every day you hesitate, someone else who's less prepared but more willing is taking action. And they're passing you. They're learning, failing, growing, and you're still sitting on the sidelines trying to feel ready. You don't lose because you weren't smart enough. You lose because you never got in the game. So stop overthinking. Stop asking for permission. Stop waiting for some green light that's never coming. The light is already green. You just have to move.
Will you stumble?
Yes. Will you fail? Yes. But every failure is progress. Every stumble is data. Every step forward, even if it's messy, gets you closer than standing still. The truth is, the people who achieve massive success aren't the ones who had it all figured out from the start. They're the ones who started messy, started scared, started broke, started uncertain, and then adapted. They built as they went. They created clarity through action. So don't wait. Start now. Start small if you have to, but start. Because the difference between you and the person living the life you want isn't readiness. It's action. You'll never feel ready, but you don't need ready. You need movement. Start before you're ready and let readiness catch up later. Look around you. The people you spend the most time with are either pulling you forward or holding you down. There's no neutral. Your circle is shaping your future more than your talent, more than your opportunities, more than your goals. Because environment beats intention every single time. You might have big dreams, but if your circle is small-minded, you'll shrink to fit them. Think about it. If you hang around people who complain all the time, eventually you complain too. If you surround yourself with people who settle for average, you'll settle without even realizing it. Why? Because we normalize what we see. If you're always around mediocrity, mediocrity becomes your standard. You stop questioning it. You stop pushing for more. You start believing that's all there is. But when you put yourself in a room where people are thinking bigger, moving faster, demanding more from themselves, you rise. You're forced to grow just to keep up. You can't stay small when everyone around you is stretching. Your circle creates your ceiling. If they're low, you'll never rise higher. If they're high, they'll pull you up with them. Here's the hard truth. Sometimes the reason you're stuck isn't because of you. It's because of who you're around. You can't run a marathon if your circle only wants to sit on the couch. You can't build wealth if your circle spends everything they make. You can't grow spiritually, mentally, or emotionally if your circle stays stuck in gossip, negativity, and excuses. You don't just need motivation, you need a new environment. Now, this doesn't mean you cut everyone off cold, but you do need to start being intentional. Who's feeding you? Who's draining you? Who pushes you to get better and who keeps pulling you back to who you used to be? You need to audit your circle like you'd audit your finances, because if you don't, you'll stay broke mentally, emotionally, and maybe financially too. And let's be clear, it's not always about finding better people. It's about finding people with better habits, better standards, better goals. You want to be fit. Spend time with people who take care of their health. You want to grow a business. Spend time with people who are building, not just talking. You want to develop discipline. Hang around people who treat discipline like oxygen. Here's something most people don't realize: your circle doesn't just affect what you do. It affects what you believe is possible. If you're surrounded by people who've never seen success, who think big dreams are unrealistic, who mock ambition, guess what happens? You'll start shrinking your vision to match theirs. Not because you want to, but because that's the water you're swimming in. But if your circle talks about possibilities, growth, opportunities, you'll naturally start believing bigger. The scary part is this: your circle is contagious. Attitudes, habits, even income levels spread. Studies show you'll usually end up around the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if you're the smartest, most ambitious, most disciplined person in your group, you're in the wrong group. You've capped your growth. You've hit the ceiling your circle has set for you. So ask yourself, is your circle challenging you or coddling you? Are they calling you higher or keeping you comfortable? Are they fueling your future or feeding your excuses? If you want to grow, you need to outgrow some circles. That's just reality. Because here's the bottom line: your circle determines your ceiling. If you want to rise higher, you need to step into rooms where you're the smallest, least experienced, least accomplished person. It's uncomfortable, but that discomfort will stretch you further than years of staying comfortable ever could. Perfection is a trap. It looks good, it feels smart, but it's poison. Most people don't move forward because they're waiting to make it perfect. They won't release the product until every detail is flawless. They won't start the fitness journey until they have the perfect plan. They won't launch the idea until they've fixed every tiny gap. And because they're waiting for perfect, they never start. The truth is simple: progress beats perfection every single time. Progress is movement. Progress compounds. Perfection is paralysis. It keeps you stuck, obsessing over details that don't matter while time slips away. You can fix something in motion, but you can't fix something that never starts. Think about it. Every great product, Every great business, every great skill started ugly. The first iPhone wasn't perfect. The first draft of every book was a mess. The first workout, the first speech, the first video, none of them looked like the polished final version. But here's the thing, there would never be a polished version without those rough starts. The perfect you admire today was built on stacks of imperfect progress. Perfection is an illusion anyway. You'll never hit it. Even if you get close, by the time you do, the bar will have moved. Standards evolve, expectations shift, the world changes. So if you're waiting to move until everything is flawless, you're chasing a finish line that doesn't exist. That's why progress matters more. Because progress is real, it's measurable, it stacks. Here's the part most people don't want to hear: perfection is just another excuse. It's procrastination dressed up in fancy clothes. When you say, I'm not ready yet, I just want it to be perfect, what you're really saying is, I'm scared to start. You're protecting your ego from failure by pretending to polish. But the polishing never ends, and neither does the fear. Progress is the only cure. You want to build confidence. Don't wait until you're perfect. Move while you're imperfect. Confidence comes from proof, not theory. Every time you make progress, even messy progress, you collect proof that you can do it. Every time you wait for perfect, you collect nothing but more doubt. And let's be honest, the market doesn't care if you're perfect. The world rewards people who ship, who move, who act. You don't get points for the perfect plan sitting in your notebook. You get points for results, and results come from progress. Perfectionists love to say, I don't want to do it wrong. But the truth is, doing nothing is worse than doing it wrong. Wrong can be corrected. Wrong can be improved. Wrong can lead to right. But nothing leads nowhere. You can't improve on silence. You can't refine what doesn't exist. Progress compounds in a way perfection never will. Small steps every day add up to massive growth over time. If you commit to being 1% better every day, in a year, you're 37 times better. That's math. But if you wait for perfection every day, in a year, you're in the same place, except more frustrated, more behind, and more bitter. So stop trying to be perfect. Start moving. Launch the ugly version. Post the imperfect video. Take the messy action. Because once you're in motion, you can improve. Once you're in the game, you can adjust. But if you sit on the sidelines polishing forever, the game passes you by. The bottom line, progress beats perfection every time. Perfect is a fantasy. Progress is reality. Don't waste your life chasing flawless. Use your life building forward momentum. Because at the end, nobody remembers the person who almost did something perfectly. They remember the one who actually did it. Growth isn't free. You're going to pay for it one way or another. You either pay the price of discipline, discomfort, and courage, or you pay the price of regret. And regret is the heaviest debt you'll ever carry. So stop holding yourself back. Start moving, start failing, start building. Because the clock doesn't stop for your excuses, and the world doesn't wait for your permission. You've got one shot. Don't waste it staying small.